Hello, everyone, and welcome to our March office hours. My name is Stacey Hatch, Product Marketing Manager here at GUIDEcx, and we are excited for another opportunity to talk with you about new features and enhancements coming your way soon. You'll recognize two very familiar faces. On today's call, we have Cameron Crossett and Chris Halaiua from our product team. We're excited to have them here with us to tell you about features that we talked about in our February office hours, update on the status of those, updates to our email attachment import functionality, and then also some exciting changes within our program management experience. And then something we know you all have been excited and anticipating, Chris is going to be talking to you more about enhancements to custom fields. So not just being able to add those at a project level, but also at the task level. New data types we're introducing, and also the ability to then add custom fields into your personal project table and inline edit those values. But before we jump in, I do have one item to bring to your attention, which is the fact that our very own Elon Minez will be hosting a virtual workshop tomorrow about how to onboard busy people. I've seen quite a few people you can do so in the community. In the chat, I will be dropping the link where you can go to and easily register, and he'll also be posting this if you're not able to attend, but wanted to let you know that's happening tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. With that, we can go ahead and get started. As always, please, in the chat or in the Q&A, leave your questions as we go along, and we will answer those live. Take it away, Cam.
Awesome. Thanks, Stacy. Let me just share my screen right here. Good afternoon to everybody. Really excited to share with you some of the updates that we've made. So we were on here in February and talking about all of the cool stuff that we had queued up, and we always try to be customer obsessed with you and with anyone that we chat with. And so part of that is being as transparent as we can be in what we're working on, when we think we're going to have it. And with February, there are a few of those that went live, and we're really excited that they're out in the wild. And there's a few that we came across a few issues, and we had to hold those things back. We do think, though, that the transparent and open approach is the way to go, but we know and recognize a few of you have reached out and said, hey, I heard about this in office hours and I thought it was going to be live. And so we just want to, kind of tell you that we hear you. That was not our intention, but we also look at product from the perspective of we can't in good faith put something out that we know is going to cause you more pain than the value that it brings. And we had to hold back on a few things. With that being said, let's get into some specifics, celebrate the wins, and then talk about what you can look forward to here shortly. So the first is that on March 21st, we pushed out vanity URLs to all of you. And so this is something where you can see in this screenshot here that you no longer have app.guidecx. We have it branded based on your company domain. And we really love this because hopefully it gives your customers a feeling of familiarity and trust that this is an onboarding solution that you have that is for them, and we're kind of sitting in the background. And so you should see all of that, and that should be live. Second thing is an ongoing beta that we've got with Report Builder. So Report Builder is awesome. It has much more flexibility when it comes to building custom reports, pulling in the data that you're looking for, and that is ongoing. If that is something that you're interested in, please reach out to your CSM. We've had great feedback from those that have been on the beta, and we're ready to expand that to you if you need it, want it, and talk with your CSM. The next thing that we talked about last month was workspaces, and we're excited that this is officially live in a beta with some of you. And so this is a workspace switcher, basically, And you can see in our screenshot that rather than having to have separate logins to different instances or workspaces of GUIDEcx, you now have the ability to have one user that can have access to this. So in our example here, we've got multiple environments, and similar to other tools, you can click through and just log in once and then be able to go to wherever you need. And it's really, really awesome. Makes it super convenient to switch between workspaces. Again, if that's something that you're interested in, please reach out to your CSM. That's not going to be a labs thing. As part of the beta, there's a bit of hand-holding that we currently have, but eventually that will be self-serve, but that is a post-beta experience where it's completely self-serve. View as and customer roles. This is one where we found a few issues and we wanted to hold back. We know that view as is really exciting. There's many of you that we've talked with that want this to be able to share with your customer and share your screen and know that it's going to be a presentation tool, and we want that to be clean and sleek and fast. And so that's coming in early April. We are nearly code complete. We have done some things in our staging environment. We're just getting ready to push to our production environment with that. And that will be our labs. So you'll be able to self-select into that when the time comes. And then the last one that we talked about last month was this embedded onboarding portal. This is another one where we are nearly there, and we are going to be starting with some beta customers. I know there's a few of you out there that we've been in communication with, and we're really excited. That will be April, but that's going to come a little bit after the view as and customer roles.
A quick question that came through, Cam and Chris. What is the status on having Recipe Builder work with vanity URLs?
Good question. Chris, do you want me to take this?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can team up on it. Go ahead first, and I'll back you up.
Yeah. So it's currently being worked on right now. I'll tell you that much. We are heads down trying to solve that. There is one piece of this that is a bit outside of our control, where it's related to our partner with Workato, and there is a dependency that we're working with them side by side with, and we try to be a good partner. We are certainly not pointing the finger, but there is a codependency here that we're trying to work through, and that affects part of it, and we're hoping to have a quick resolution. So, Chris, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that.
Yeah, I think the only couple pieces is it's not a session or a cookie issue. It's just a token with Workato, and we've been able to test that in detail and confirm that by escalating things, that we'll be able to get that token all sorted out and have it work in all workspaces.
Anything else, Stacy, before I move on?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay. Another one is our email attachment import. So you saw a communication from us last week where we had talked about the disabling of emails automatically coming in as attachments. Part of that was a cleanliness issue with data and navigating the attachments tab. We realized we were a bit hasty in our jump to that of saying, hey, let's have this be the solution. And so as of Monday this week, we got this back out. We have communication coming on it for the masses to let them know. But basically, we are trying not to be as opinionated in what we think is the way that you want to work, and trying to make things configurable and make it a setting. And so in your case, if you are an admin and you go into your company details, you'll see this new import email attachments. If it's enabled, then that means that that it will work exactly the way it did up to last week. If you have it disabled, then that means that you will maintain the experience that's on right now, where you have to upload attachments directly into GUIDEcx, and is defaulting it to where this is back on for all users to restore it to what you were used to. So if if you really don't want it on and it's something where you prefer it's off, once we're going to try to exclude you from adding that back on, but once it is live, we'll double check and make sure that that it's off, because we know some of you have had conversations with CSMs and other team members, and we want to not put more work on your plate to go in and update a setting that you've already put in there. So, but very excited to let you work the way that you want to work and have it be a process that works for you. The last piece that I'm going to talk about is program management. And this is the one that I'm most excited to talk about today. And that's because it affects everybody on the call. This is a feature that it is in our advanced pricing, but we're opening up part of this functionality to have it available for everybody while reserving a piece of it still for that advanced tier. So I'll say this one is code complete. We're working to change the feature flag next Monday and have more communication in app to inform you and the rest of your users. But this program management, what this is this gives you a way to come in and see all of gives you a customer view. We've been very project centric in GUIDEcx, and program management lets you look at it from a customer standpoint. And we've had this functionality out for a while. The piece that was missing was the ability to basically merge customers together, because we realized that in the past, you might have had an instance where you were typing in a customer name and you created two duplicates. We're going to do a live demo here with this one customer, and we're going to merge those together. But the piece that everybody should be aware of is that with program management, everybody will get this list. It used to be that the paywall was right here. The paywall will now be to when you dive in and want to look at this dashboard. So let's go to the live demo and kind of show you what I'm looking at here. So here is program management, and the updates that we've made are we've pulled some of these aggregated values up here to this customer list, where I can see the cash value of the projects aggregated, the CSAT scores, and forecasted end date of the last project for each of the customers, and how many projects are going on. And in this case, I realized, hey, I need to combine these two customers. If I were to jump into one, you can see this one has 38 projects. We have all of these aggregated dashboards, and I can jump into my projects. But because we know that this is the same customer in both cases, we want to merge those two together and not have them be separate. So I'm going to come to this delete icon. And when I do that, it's saying, all right, that's fine. You can get rid of this customer that you don't need, but you need to reassign the projects to a different customer. And so I can come in here and I can say, hey, this is the other customer that it belongs to. And I type delete. I've got my confirmation. I hit that, and it's going to merge those successfully. If I refresh my screen there, we will get that popping up. I got a bad internet connection, it appears, and it is merging a lot of data with those 30 or 40 projects. So now we can see that my total cash value for this customer as a whole is 523. My CSAT is 3.8. And if I jump into it, I now have the 57 projects. Very excited for this. I've taken more time than I should. There will be more details. But again, the thing I wanted to point out is that this is the part that will have a paywall that you still have to be in our advanced tier for, but for everybody else, you will get this nice new screen of program management with the aggregated values, the ability to merge your customers, to edit them, all of those pieces. And we're just excited to give you something that you can use and that is available for all of our customers.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Cam. There's a question that came in from Emily regarding what you talked about previously with the attachment import from email. She asked, how much space for attachments does each customer have, or does it depend on contract?
I don't think it depends on contract. I don't have a number off the top of my head. I've never heard of anyone running out of space. If that is something that you're running into, I'd love to have a deeper conversation, but I've never heard of us capping someone where they couldn't attach anything.
Perfect. I think that's it as far as questions. Thanks so much, Cam.
Great.
All right, so we'll jump into custom fields now. Great job, partner. Let's see here. So here, let's go to this. Pull this here. So custom fields have been a huge emphasis for us for quite a while now. Even though we've had custom fields at the project level, they've only been able to apply to that object type and nothing else inside of GUIDEcx. And it's never been able to support anything other than text. And whenever we looked at the three main areas where you wanted to use custom fields more, we could see why we wanted to improve quite a bit. So now, when you go into reports, because of our improvements in custom fields, you're going to be able to slice by any segment that gives context and meaning to you, that is probably unique to your systems, unique to your business, and will really be able to speak your language. And then with recipes, whenever you're configuring automations or integrations, we also want to speak the language of those connected third-party systems and make sure that whatever our standard fields for them become available fields in custom fields for us. And then finally, when you're just trying to navigate through your many projects and tasks, giving this type of metadata and this type of context can really help you get to what you're trying to find faster. And so this is going to just make sure that you're able to get shortcuts and find what you need. So the way that this is done is through three main steps, where we create the placeholder label, we fill in a bunch of rules to make sure that that data is accurate and reliable and validated, and then we populate it all with the actual values down at the project and now at the task level. And so we're excited to show you that as you create it, that instead of just being at the project level, it can be at the task level now, and instead of just being text, you can have numbers, dates, toggles, and many more that I'll show you here in just a moment. So let's jump away from this into the live demo. And the way that you'll navigate to this is the same way that you have before. You'll just come up to this kind of triple dot kebab icon up in the top left. You'll still go to your custom fields, but now it's going to look dramatically different from the way that your legacy custom field menu used to. You can always go back to it if you want to, as we're kind of getting used to this new world. But now we can see that we have project custom fields, regular task custom fields, event task custom fields, participant task custom fields. And then within each of those, as I go to create, I'll move this down here in the corner. When I add a new label, kind of container for a custom field, we have this drop down for all the many data types. So there's the old one that we had for text strings. And the great thing that engineering has done is made sure that we're backwards compatible. So any custom field that you had created to this point, we have already migrated and set the data type as a text string and set the object type as project. So you'll still be able to pick up from your old values where you left off, but now you'll be able to be a lot more specific around the validation you want to enforce based on it being a date, email, link, number, percentage, drop down, or a Boolean toggle. So let's say, for example, that I wanted to do single select. It's personally my favorite data type because it really keeps the values spelled correctly, capitalized correctly, spaced correctly, and get it all done with a single click rather than having to type it out. So I'm going to apply this down all the way at the task level. And then I'm going to say that this is my workaround for custom status for now. And in here, I'm going to go and I'm going to set all the values that could be possible for my custom status. So I'm going to throw in scheduled. I'm going to throw in pipeline. I'm going to throw in approval pending. I'm going to throw in other things like delayed. And you can go on like this as much as you want. You can edit those values, set them as the default, remove them. And you can even decide to set this as a required field where all users have to set that upon creation of the task, or eventually the project too. So I'll save that here. And now when I look at my regular task custom fields, I can see that new value that appeared just for that specific type. Now, when I dive a little bit deeper down into my tasks, if I take a look at that real fast, I'll see that I'm able to set that value the way I always could in the past. Like I can open up this specific task, and down here in my edit pane, I'll see all my custom fields down at the bottom, and there's my custom status with all of its potential values, and I can save that as usual. Now that's fine, but we want to really make sure that it's even easier at the project level. So rather than having to open the edit pane over on the right, when you go to the projects table, you'll now be able to expand to significantly more custom columns than you ever had before. And you can pull in these custom fields as columns. And then when you do, you can see that all these columns right here are in addition to the standard fields that used to be available. I can say, oh, the renewal revenue for this is actually $29,000. And I can either press enter or just click away and it will save that value. I can set the renewal date for this one. And instead of having to type in all the slashes and dashes and get everything correctly, I can just click on a specific date. I can put in points of contact and expect the validation to work. So on this one, if I actually try to delete a value and it's just not really formatted as a true email, it'll go and say, oh, we want to actually go and have that be something that conforms to your linked rules or your formatting rules. And then when you're taking advantage of some of the attachment comments that were mentioned earlier, and maybe wanting to store some of the content in cloud storage, you can just go in and apply a value here and both edit the value in line and then just in the single click actually jump to that link. And when you're wanting to go and look at other things like a basic toggle of yes or no, you can just use a toggle to say yes, it's true, or leave it untoggled if it's false. And if it's blank, it just means that you really haven't made a decision on that yet. And these are all the great ways that we're trying to make it easier than ever for your project management team to apply custom fields, but also easier for your leadership team to believe that the values that are in those custom fields are something you can make business decisions on because you have all these validation rules around it on the top. So even though I've been able to set those things in the edit drawer and inline editable in the table, that's still a manual 1-by-1 type of thing. And so, yes, when you come in to the API, we will be able to programmatically set all these values in bulk and really fly through that either upon automated creation or through other recipes you want to set in Recipe Builder. And you can count on that API to be available for you inside of our connector. So rather than you having to write manual scripts with our API, you can just come over into Recipe Builder, choose the connector, and you'll see a little green bar that says, hey, there's a new version of the connector. And that connector has the new actions for these new custom fields. And then you'll be able to just go and drag in the custom field pieces into your recipes and make sure that as you're both pulling things in from other systems and pushing them back out into those systems, that they can be an easy way for you to set up automated actions. And then finally, if you're not just trying to take an action, but you're trying to analyze things, If you're one of the providers that have opted in to Report Builder, you can just click on the data section and you'll see a new data type, a new data set called custom fields. And that's where you'll have every single value at the project and task level and be able to merge that with your tasks or your projects or your milestones and get all that extra context that you would want when you're setting up your custom reports. So these are all the many reasons we're really excited about this. The beta will be starting off next week, and then we'll be going GA later in April.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Emily had a question about vanity URLs. Is the vanity URL something that just happens, or do we have to opt in?
I'll take that. You do not need to opt in. It has happened. The one thing I will say is, if for whatever reason you don't like the vanity URL that we have, for most people it was just that we took your company domain and dropped the .com off of it or whatever. If for whatever reason you don't like what yours is, then you can reach out and we can update it to have it be what you would prefer. But that should be live. You should be able to see it right now in the URL. So
yeah,
please
and if
reach
you're
out.
still seeing app.guidecx.com, you'll begin to see more and more of those redirects. You can always expect old bookmarks, old email links to continue working. We'll just add that extra branding on top of it gradually over time.
Perfect. I think that's all of the questions that we have. Thank you all for joining Office Hours. We appreciate you being here, giving your feedback, asking questions. We'll be back with you again in April to talk about exciting new features, and we'll be sending out a recording of this to you tomorrow. So look out for that in your emails. Thanks so much. Talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody.